Hello there, beautiful. I'm so excited you're joining me today because I'm going to be sharing some honest truths. If we haven't met yet before, my name is Karolina and I'm an alcohol-free life coach and founder of Euphoric. And I'm so grateful that the universe has connected us in this way. And today I want to share a little bit about my backstory that I haven't shared so often before. Because often I start sharing the story of how I came to transform my relationship with alcohol with my experiment to remove it from my life for 30 days when I did my first dry January. But when I really look back upon my life, I actually had a lot of other mindset shifts along the way that I think are really important to share. And to normalize that it actually can take years and years to peel back the onion and really get the level of awareness that we want something to change in our lives. And so no, my relationship with alcohol did not change overnight just because I did my first dry January. It was actually a culmination of years of confusion, struggle, awareness, and mindfulness. And so, I'll share a little bit of some poignant times in my life when I really could become more mindful that my relationship with alcohol was not making me happy and I was actually trying to do something about it. And I hope that this helps you to understand that you're not behind. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be, and you continue to be open to receiving the next step and truly learning about yourself as you peel back the layers of the onion in your life. So when I was in college, my drinking was just, I was a party girl. I loved to party. I loved to go out. I was drinking way too much. In fact, in college is probably when I was drinking the most in my entire lifetime. And in 2010, I was in grad school. It was my first year of grad school. I went straight into grad school after college, so my drinking was still pretty problematic in that sense. I really realized that this was too much. I was going through a bad breakup, and I really had absolutely no healthy coping mechanisms in my life. I didn't know even how to adult, really. It's kind of escaped me. I was just really confused. And in 2010, I took my first break from alcohol, and I did a break for 3 weeks for 21 days, and I did do it in January. And it amazes me because I didn't actually ditch booze until 2018, the earlier part of 2018. So it took me 8 years from my first break to my second break to actually, make alcohol irrelevant in my life. And I struggled and was confused and was disappointed and went through the whole gamut of painful experiences for 8 years before I really, really solved this in my life. And so I just want to share a little bit about how long this can take. There's actually studies that show that the moment that we become aware that alcohol is not serving us, it actually does take around 7 years to truly make sustainable changes in our lives. So you're not behind, you're exactly where you need to be. So in 2010, I was around 22. I took my very first break from alcohol, and all I did was just not drink. I didn't learn anything about myself. Poor little me. I didn't journal. I didn't try to get to the root of why I like to drink in the first place. I obviously didn't read any books or listen to podcasts. I don't even think they existed back then. And so I just went merrily back into drinking and went on my little way. When I continued to grow up in my 20s, I tried to really square away this alcohol thing and really stop being such a partier and irresponsible with it. So when I met my husband, we kind of settled down a little bit. I stopped drinking on a random Tuesday. I stopped going out till 2 a.m. And I really tried to create space for drinking only on the weekend. And so that's when I call this part of my life the moderation illusion. And then I thought, as long as I can keep it compact on the weekend, it's fine. It's not a problem, right? And I started eating healthier and really taking care of my body better. And I started working, actually having a job. When I was in college, obviously I worked, but it wasn't my livelihood back then, right? And so I really started growing up in a sense, and I started to really square away this thing. And it's not to say I didn't overdrink still. I just try to have a lot of boundaries over my relationship with alcohol. And so this started happening for me in 2011, and then in 2013 I remember it really came up for me again. And what I started doing in 2013 is I remember I had an Excel sheet where I started tracking my drinks. Right? Have you ever done that? Have you ever tracked how much you drink in a night? So I started writing down in this Excel sheet in 2013 how much I was drinking every night. or the nights that I did drink, and then adding it up on the weekly basis because I was really trying hard to fit under, somewhat of the health guidelines and not be drinking like 30 drinks a week, but really try to keep it to like 14, and 7 was a miracle, right? And so it was crazy to me that even 7 years ago, this is when I started really becoming conscious even more that I was not happy with the way alcohol was showing up. So I was trying to control it. I was trying to drink less. I was trying to really control it and really make other healthier lifestyle changes, but, continue drinking at the same time. In 2015, still doing, trying to become more mindful, trying to become more healthy, I remember buying my first book. And the book was about drinking less. So in my mind, you can see how I keep evolving a little bit. My mindset keeps shifting a little bit. First I go from taking my first break, but not really doing any of the mindset work. Then I'm in this phase where I'm trying to control it. Then I'm in this phase where I'm okay. Like I'm actually taking a little bit of a courageous step to buy my first book. Because before that, I would have not been caught dead with a book. If that makes sense, right? So it was a huge courageous step to buy my first book. And you have also already taken that big courageous step because you're part of this community. You're part of this community, and it means you're open to exploring this in your life and expressing it and not having it kept away as the biggest, deepest, darkest secret. So I first bought a first book, and it was called Drink Less, and it was really about becoming mindful about drinking and really like having some kind of strategies in place. And I tried so hard to follow it. And sometimes obviously I did succeed. Sometimes I did keep within my limits. I only had those 2 drinks. I only whatever. And then obviously sometimes I totally failed. I drank more than I wanted to. And I just felt such shame because, I kept doing it to myself. And I was so cognizant of it already because I was keeping track in my Excel sheet. And I, when I break the rules, that's when I really, really started to feel a lot of shame and just erode my self-esteem because I was never sticking quite for very long sustainable amounts of time to the rules that I set up. And so in some ways I was taking so many steps forward, by trying to transform my relationship with alcohol, but also really becoming cognizant of how much pain it actually brought me and whether it was even worth all that pain. In 2017, this is a huge development for me. I made a New Year's resolution that I would take 1 week off every month. So every month I would take a 1 week break from alcohol. And the incredible thing that I did in this moment was that for me, the weekends were always associated with drinking. So I was pretty good at not drinking, Monday through Wednesday or Thursday, but then Friday through Sunday, like that's what the weekends were made for, drinking was what you did. And so when I made this New Year's resolution to not drink for 1 whole week each month of the year, I had to learn how to not drink on the weekend. For 1 out of 4 weekends in that month, I was not drinking. And I was really clever when I planned these weeks. I try to plan them around times when I didn't have to go to a party or some kind of social event or even a baby shower. But sometimes they did coincide with these social events, and I had to learn how to become comfortable in my own skin at these social events. This year was incredible in my development and my growth because I was really, really conscious of how I felt when I didn't drink and when I did. And I also really, truly did discover, the effects of not drinking alcohol on the weekend were so profound to me. I really felt better. I could go to yoga classes. And at the same time, though, I still felt pretty deprived when I didn't drink. So it was like this push and pull kind of tug a war on my heart, over and over and over again. What's so interesting about taking a week off every month during 2017 is that, the effects of going alcohol free really show up after a week. They really show up between 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then they just keep getting exponentially better from there. And the first week is actually the hardest. So it's kind of ironic that I was putting myself through the hardest phase of going alcohol free over and over and over again. And yet I look back at that version of me and I love her so much because she was taking the steps that she needed to learn to be comfortable with the idea of not drinking, even in the moments when she was so used to it, like the weekends and social events. And that's truly what led me to the beginning of 2018 when I took my second big break from alcohol and I did dry January, and subsequently then I did a dry February, mid-February, and from then on I haven't gone back to drinking. And you can see that it wasn't just this break from alcohol in dry January that led to this incredible success, incredible finding my true calling, finding my passion, finding a life so big without alcohol that it becomes irrelevant, that there was so much mindset shifts that had to happen along the way throughout those 8 years to get me to that point. And so my biggest message to you through this is that you're not behind. You're not behind. If you haven't figured this out yet, maybe you bounce back between taking a break and going back to alcohol. Maybe you just haven't yet committed to a break in the first place, and it brings you a lot of guilt and shame that alcohol is still so big and, painful in your life, or confusing at the very least, frustrating. It doesn't allow you to show up as the best version of yourself into this world. And I just want to honor you. I want to honor you and tell you that you're exactly where you need to be. You are exactly where you need to be. And if you're watching this video, you're actually like 3 football fields ahead of most people, because you're actually letting yourself really digest this information, really peel back the layers of your own psyche and understand what's the root of your own relationship with alcohol. So I just want to congratulate you on that. And I just want to share that, not only are you not behind, but because of everything that I went through and then my training that I did to become an alcohol-free life coach, I know the strategies that you need to help you shave off years of your experience. And so if you ever need some support, if you ever want to talk through this with someone, please feel free to reach out for me. I'm here to make this journey shorter for you, a shorter learning curve, so you don't have to go through 8 more years of not aligning your life to your deeper values and your bigger dreams. Why don't we start today? Why don't we actually start today and say, this is the day that I am going to listen to that inner guide, listen to that tug on my heart to truly make alcohol insignificant and irrelevant in my life, so that I have so much more space for what I truly, truly am meant to do. I believe in you so much. You're in exactly the right place at this exact right time. I believe in you, and I see so much potential in you and what you can continue to create and build in your life when you let go of the things that really don't serve you and welcome in the things that do. I honor you. I thank you so much for joining me. If you'd love to talk further, I'm here for you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.